Hey, it's Jason here from Ridgeline Outdoor Adventure, and thanks for hanging out with us today. Hard to believe that my baby is just about 4 years old. Coming up real quick, so this, the long-awaited, the highly anticipated 4-year, 60,000 mile update. I got the first Honda Ridgeline that came available at the Honda Way in the metropolis of Abbotsford. I was waiting for a touring. It didn't look like it was coming. They had no ETA, but then this black sport model showed up. Turns out the Canadian sport model is way better equipped than the US one. I looked at that, I said, it's got a sunroof. Oh, not in the US. It's got a sliding rear glass. Oh, it's got all the safety features and blind spot monitoring and a heated steering wheel and heated cloth seats. It's perfect. Oh, and you mean I'm going to save about $9,500 over the term of the truck based on price difference and interest payments? I'm in. It's been a good 4 years. So I did a 2.5-year review. That's where I kind of went up and down the truck, showed you all the nooks and the crannies, talked about how much engine horsepower and torque and 9-speed transmission, all that stuff. I don't want to make that video again. You can go ahead and watch it. I mean, it outlines more of a typical car review of what you'd expect in a Honda Ridgeline. So let's talk about some other things. Let's treat this a little bit more like an update. This is the kind of video you watch if you buy gently used vehicles and or you keep them a long time. You're interested in what does it actually cost to own and operate this vehicle. And I'm not giving you dollars. But if I had to guesstimate it, it's a really low number. But I will document or outline what I've actually done to this thing in 4. If you're more the kind of guy that likes a new vehicle and you just want to lease a new one every 3 years, then go watch the 2.5-year review, because it speaks more on why you should buy the Ridgeline and what's so great about it as an automobile. This video is going to speak about what's so great about it being a Honda, how affordable and reliable it is. And that's why a lot of us Honda owners buy, well, that's why we buy Hondas. We want good value for our dollar. We want reliability. We want good resale. And yeah, maybe we want some VTEC, yo. I don't know. Here we go. They've had 2 fixes for the idle stop system. That's where you push on the brake pedal and the engine shuts off when you're at a red light. Saves fuel, drives most people crazy. I didn't mind it until it stopped working. You can check out more details on that on Rant and Rave number 3. But in December of 2024, Honda replaced my starter motor and did a valve adjustment for me as a fix for the issues with the idle stop system. By this point, I had already put in an idle stop defeater. I wasn't using the system. It had no effect on my life. But a free starter and valve adjustment? Yeah, why not? Truck's 4 years old. You want to give me some free parts? I'm in. A couple other minor recall things, a new tailgate switch, tailgate wiring actually, which is probably down in here. The lighting is horrible, but I think you can see it. Anyway, they replaced that because in some models it was getting pinched and then causing the tailgate functions to not work properly. What else? They replaced the side mirror glass. Apparently it would fall out at high speeds. Well, not for me, but they said, hey, if we're doing one recall, we have to do them all. I said, I don't care, it's your money. So they did. What else has happened? One other issue. About a year ago, the alarm started going off in the middle of the night. That was a weird one. First thing I checked was the battery, and it was sitting at about 11 volts, which is it's a tad low. So I replaced the battery, and in talking with Justin over at Certified Auto, he said, are you keeping your scan gauge 2 plugged in? I said, well, of course I am. He said, well, that's plugged into your OBD port and it keeps your CAN bus system awake, basically causing a power drain. Oh, so I prematurely wore out my stock battery by having the scan gauge 2 plugged in. Fine, replace the battery, not a big deal, not Honda's fault, 100% user fault. And yeah, so far so good. Even then, the truck always started, even if I let it sit for a week. So I did a little bit more troubleshooting, dug my way through the forums, tried a few things, and it turned out that the fix to the alarm going off was down in here, right in there, and that is the pin switch for the tailgate. Turns out people with brand new 2023s were having these problems right off the lot. They were going home, and the second night they owned the truck, the alarm was going off. Dealer stuck a shim in there, boom, never happened again. So I did that. How hard is it to put in a shim? Couple of washers, boom, easy, done. Cost me 50 cents to fix it. I'm exaggerating, it was probably more like 10 cents. And it hasn't happened since. That is the extent of the problems that I've had with this vehicle. Wow. So a couple of recalls and a little bit of creative thinking on my part for a total repair cost in 4 years of, yeah, 10 cents. In terms of maintenance, let's get into that. Costs money to own and operate a vehicle, brakes wear out, tires wear out, all that kind of stuff. So let's talk about what I've actually done here. So I replaced the battery. That is a maintenance item. I replaced it a bit sooner. Again, because of the scan gauge 2 drawing it down. If I wasn't having the alarm problems, dollars to donut says I would still be on that original battery. And it wasn't the alarm causing the problem. That was just part of my troubleshooting. Anyway, battery. Tires. I'm on my 3rd set of tires. 4th, actually. Have I worn any of them out? No. I took the factory ones off after a year and sold them. I put winter tires on the first season. Still have them. Used them in the winter. Except this winter. Because it's like January 6th and I'm out here in a t-shirt. And I've gone through 2 sets of all-terrain tires. But have I? The first set are still alive and well on my wife's passport. So when we got her passport, we took off the obnoxious 20-inch wheels and I gave her my 18s with the Cooper Discoverer AT3 4S's at about 50% tread life. And then I upgraded to the new Cooper Road and Trail ATs. Video's doing well. Check out my first thoughts on that. Those tires have been fantastic. So have I really worn out any tires? I don't know, I guess, but I still have them all. Anyway, tires, par for the course. What else? Oil changes. I don't know how many. When the maintenance minder tells me to change the oil, I change the oil. It's roughly every 12,000 kilometers-ish. So I've probably done 8. Rear diff fluid, I've done that twice. And I honestly, I don't remember how much it costs. It is, I don't know, like 15 or 20 bucks for a quart of fluid. Takes a couple quarts, like, it's nothing. It's an easier job than an oil change. And then transmission fluid drain and fill. I just did the first one a month ago in December. Easy work as well. I think the fluid was 50 bucks a quart. It wasn't cheap. It was probably $2.50 all in. Brake fluid. I've never, ever flushed or drained and filled flushed brake fluid in my life on any vehicle. I know. I know. We're getting there. So we did it. It wasn't easy. It wasn't fun. The equipment that I bought to help make the process easier failed, but Sam and I pushed through it. We got her done. So brake fluid, done. What'd that cost me? I don't know, 30 bucks. So repairs, yeah, nothing really out of pocket. Couple of washers, a little bit of my time dealing with that alarm sounding issue, but no actual breakdowns. It's a Honda, 60,000 miles. What's gonna go wrong with it? Nothing. Am I impressed? No, I'm not impressed at all. That is exactly why I buy Hondas. Toyotas, yeah, I get it. You have all that too. No problem. A very, very good ownership experience so far. 4 years, 60,000 miles, hard driving. I tow my plow quad around in the snow. I've towed it in and out of the bush. I do a lot of overlanding, highway trips, town trips, heading off to mountain bike trails. This thing does it all, and it does it all in spades. So if you're thinking about buying a Honda Ridgeline, new or used, well, yeah, do it. I got plenty of videos on why I think it's the best truck and you should have it instead of an SUV. I don't need to sit here and tell you why it's an amazing truck. In the case of this video, it's been rock solid, reliable. What else? Damage? Well, I don't know. Do you want to go have a look around? Not exactly Honda's fault. A little mishap with the trailer. Literally came right off the ball and up came the tongue. Sucks to be me. Lots of scrapes around the bumpers. Another trailer mishap right there. Jackknife my buddy's trailer, little 4x8 trailer. Didn't even notice it. Anyway, lots of pinstriping, in particular that one. This truck is still in pretty darn good shape. What would it take for me to not own a Ridgeline? Would I ever buy a Tacoma, for example? I talked about only being interested in Honda and Toyota. Well, if I worked locally and was, driving 10 minutes to and from work each day and then just hitting the backcountry on the weekends, yeah, I probably would have a Tacoma. It's just that much better for those things. But I'm putting on 15,000 miles a year, a lot of highway, some road trips, sales trips. I need something that's more comfortable. I don't fit as well in a Tacoma. There's not as much room for my dogs or my things. And so, for now, it is still the Ridgeline. And that, my friends, is your 4-year update. We'll see you in 4 more years. Oh, come on, you know I'll be back sooner than that. Thanks for hanging out with us, and until next time, and there will be a next time, go play outside.